As a music producer who's taught over 1 million producers around the world who have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, Lil Baby, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, I can tell you there's one trick we use to cover our flaws in music production. So if you don't make beats, let me show you guys a little trick, especially for the amateurs out there who are just getting started. So it's a time delay. So basically here is without any delay on our sample. So there are a couple time flaws, like the timing of the drums, different little small things. Okay, so what we'll do as producers now, as a person who doesn't know anything about production, you might not even notice a difference. So what's actually happening is if we solo the samples, for example, I have one sample that is the what we call the top line. This is the like memorable repeating phrase. That dun 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 dun. Okay, so that's pulled mono, so you're not going to hear much of a time difference, but there is a delay on here, which causes some time difference. I'm trying not to go into the weeds, but basically smearing the time of something, just using a simple delay. If I turn this off, now we're really focused on that timing. And if that timing doesn't line up with our drums, the ear is like, something's really bad. So what I'm going to do is turn off both delays. Okay, now let's turn these back on. That one is really subtle, but basically it's just fitting more in the pocket and it's smearing the perception of time so that it doesn't feel too rushed or too delayed. And that's what delays are for. You can adjust the timing. Now, this is not just delay, 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 delay. It's also like microscopic delays that you can't even perceive. And this is how producers trick the ear. So another part of the sample is this. And what we can do is open up a delay, for example, in Fruity Delay 3 for the techs who want to follow me. So basically what we're doing here is we are creating, if you turn up the wet level, turn the dry level all the way down, turn feedback all of the way down, turn delay time all of the way down. And then we can insert what's called time modulation here, but then we can also create a time delay simply by turning off tempo sync and upping this value. So now it will delay everything. Now, what I did to create that effect without turning this knob up is I use what's called the time offset. Most people don't even realize this is here. What this is doing is it creates a difference between your left and your right ear. So we can shape the stereo field. So you guys can hear how I'm panning it one side to the other. Well, with stereo mode, what you can do is create a difference in the timing of your left ear versus your right ear. And you could offset these times to create different images of the same sound. So we can widen, and it's very subtle, but we're widening the sound and making it move around your head without even you knowing. But it's not obvious, okay? Now, another way to cover up bad timing. So let's say you play some drums and you're just like, dang, the drums didn't fit in the pocket. What we could do is add Fruity Stereo Enhancer. Now, this will be obvious here. What we're going to do is turn up what's called phase offset so that the left ear plays at a different timing than the right ear. And that difference in timing creates a perceived width to the drums. So listen to the drums get wider here. Here's without. Here's with it turned on. So you may ask, why would we ever use that? One is a stylistic approach, but also two, it's because if we as producers play a little bit off the grid, which I'll show you guys in real time just to like explain this a little bit further. So let's say I record a drum pattern and I'm just like kind of off the grid. So let's turn this on. Let's record some hi-hats and I'm going to start a brand new drum pattern just to show you guys. So I'm playing early on purpose. Okay, so I played flawed on purpose. And then let's add a snare drum in here. Let's record snare. Okay, so some of the snares are a little bit early. Nextly, let's add this kick. Okay, so now we have these drums. So what we do is, let's say those drums play. I'm going to replace the drums in the record with these. Hopefully I figure out the drum section here. Let's swap this out. So this is pattern, 7? So let's swap these for pattern 7. Did that not? Wait, where's our pattern here? Pattern, which pattern did we just do this on? Okay, pattern 8. Stand corrected. So here's pattern 8. So here's the drums we just created. Now you guys can hear it's a little bit off beat. So that's with the Fruity Stereo Enhancer turned on. Let's turn it off. You can really hear those time inconsistencies now that we're not smearing this timing. Once we had the Fruity Stereo Enhancer, now that time goes from left to right, it smears your perception of what time even is. And this is the trick. It's hard to explain until you really understand the context. But now, when you guys hear the drums, it won't sound flawed when I do have those small errors. So if we turn this off again, you're going to hear more of the timing offset, the time not matching. Now let's turn the effect back on. We can do the same thing with this piano. So for things that don't line up in time, this piano is a little rushed. Now it's part stylistically to be rushed, so that bring doesn't perfectly line up. So let's add these effects to create that time smear effect from left to right. Now it fits in the pocket. So these are the things that the pros understand that it's hard to grasp as an amateur, because you can't understand the importance of time until you get into these microscopic events where you're like, okay, 5 milliseconds makes a huge difference. Okay, so what I'm trying to teach you guys is, if it went over your head, I understand you're probably gonna have to watch this 5 more times. What I'm showing you guys is, whenever you play early or play with mistakes, usually speaking, if you delay the sound and to fit it in the pocket, it sounds more natural. If you keep it early, it will sound amateur. And what we can do is not only just delay a sound in time, we can also smear a sound from the left ear to the right ear over a certain amount of time. And because we're smearing the time from here to here over a certain amount of time, the brain's like, okay, I don't even know which part of this sound is on beat per se. And it lets us accept flaw a lot more. I don't know the proper grammar, accept more flaw, okay, in our music production. But that's what creates the sound, is that flaw. And then you can smear it across. Okay, even Dr. Dre uses a smearing effect on his drums. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Share with a friend and subscribe if you're new. If you want to learn how to make beats like the pros, go to busyworksbeats.com/betterbeatmaker. In that free course, I'll show you guys how to make beats like the pros. Peace out, guys. Subscribe if you're new.